Finally! The product of the year for 2024 is back on sale. We haven't had a sale since basically, I don't know, November. And they actually cut the sale off in December, so it's not like this is perpetually on sale. So we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna talk about, I don't know, 5 or 6 other products under $300 that you can buy right now. Most of them are on sale, and some of them I just forgot about. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee, maybe through your new cheap Audioman coffee mug, which is linked in the description, and let's talk about awesome audiophile sales, all under $300. You guys have got to check this next product out. It's crazy! How many times have you been in a meeting and forgotten something important, or you just forgotten an awesome idea because you didn't write it down, or even if you did, you spilled coffee all over it and can't read it? Guilty! This is Plaud AI, and it's a voice recorder that automatically transcribes everything that is recorded. It's the world's #1 AI voice recorder brand with over 500,000 users around the world, and it's ranked #1 in AI voice recorder category on Amazon. The reason why it's the world's #1 AI voice recorder is because it's developed on GPT-4 and effortlessly captures high-quality recordings of meetings, phone calls, voice memos. It's got its own app, and all the recordings are transcribed into precise text and intelligently summarized into notes, to-do lists, and so much more. And the coolest thing is, it's the size of a credit card. You can put the included case on the back of your phone, and it's with you everywhere you go. It has an all-day recording feature that allows segment previews and selective transcription and summarization for recordings of 20 hours long. You get a free 300-minute per month plan, which includes transcription and automated summaries. It supports 112 languages for highly accurate transcription and has over 20 professional templates, or you can customize your own template to suit your needs. You can export and share to just about anything. And with advanced AI features, you can ask it to search and find your information from your previous recordings. So if you want to take your productivity to the next level, check out the link in the description, and you can also get it at Best Buy and Amazon. Get started today with the Plaud Note. Here it is, my friends, the Wiim Ultra on sale again, under $300. This time it's a 10% off coupon. So that puts us right under the $300 cutoff. Anyway, this thing is completely awesome. Pretty much changed the game when it comes to affordable streaming hi-fi products. You have a phono stage in, you have an RCA in addition to the phono stage, you have preamp outputs, you have subwoofer output, coaxial input, a trigger output. So if you want to use the Wiim Ultra to turn on a power amp, you certainly can. You have an optical input, an optical output, also an HDMI input, ARC. Is it eARC or ARC? Just ARC. So when you turn on your Apple TV, which turns on your TV, which is then connected to this, it turns this on, which would then turn on an amplifier, if you had one. You also have a USB in or out. I also have another video, it's a $60 hi-fi hack, how to make the Wiim Ultra sound even better, because it doesn't have a great digital clock inside, but if you buy the $60 thing, then it makes the clocking issues better. I know people's heads spin off when I talk about it, but that's okay. And then you can hardwire your internet right here. Internal power supply. There's a reason why this was product of the year in 2024. Also has a wonderful display on the front. At $330, it's already a bananas value, but under $300, it's an even better value. This doesn't go on sale all the time. So if you've been holding out, today's probably the day to pull the trigger. If you are new here, please consider subscribing. We have a ton of videos out there. I do videos like this where we talk about what sales are going on, and I also do product reviews. It's right down there. Just click it. You can always take it back. You have unlimited subscriptions to donate, so please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. We got another one that I kind of forgot about. I really like this thing, and I should talk about it a lot more. This is the Fuzzy Audio. man, I need to get new glasses. Fozzy Audio ZD3. It's a DAC. So the Fozzy Audio ZD3 matches up with, oh my goodness, I have so many little amplifiers on my desk. It matches up with this, the ZA3, which is one of my favorite amplifiers. We need to talk about this some more though. One of my favorite little amplifiers. Has balanced in, single-ended in, subwoofer out. This, obviously, since they match up like that, is meant to interact with it. So the ZD3 is a DAC. One of the coolest things about the ZD3 is, again, we have an HDMI ARC input. Also 12-volt triggers in and out, which means this can be turned on and then it can turn on something else. Like the ZA3. Has coaxial input, full-size USB input, optical input, does all the stuff. I think Fozzy is also onto something with the continuity of their design. Now, I do wish that the ZD3 had some of those cool venting on the side. You don't need it since it's a DAC and it doesn't run very hot. There is some cool kind of bevels on the front, and then you have a cool porthole display. This is on sale. Generally it's $189. It's down to $152.99. And Amazon tells me that's the lowest price in 30 days. It's got an XMOS XU316. Here we go, ES9039Q2M. This is Fozzy Audio's flagship desktop DAC preamp. I think preamp is a bit of a stretch considering you don't have any analog inputs, but in essence it's a digital preamp. You can also swap out op amps on this, which is a lot of fun to play around with your hi-fi. Also on the bottom has a bypass switch, so you can basically run this thing full tilt at all times. Great sounding product, fun product. I think the $152 price point is where this thing should live, actually. $190 is starting to push it for Fozzy Audio, but Fozzy Audio is starting to kind of pull away from IEMA, from Duke Audio, and in essence is kind of starting to earn the slight premium that we have to pay for Fozzy Audio. But $152 for a DAC that sounds this good, that has HDMI ARC, not a bad deal. Got another Wiim product on sale. This is the OG amplifier, so not the Amp Pro, but that's okay because this one sounds pretty good too. Really, the only thing the first Wiim Amp doesn't have that the Wiim Amp Pro has is the PFFB. It's the new 3255 feedback loop design, whatever. What does that do? Kind of balances out the power a little bit more. You're saving basically 30 bucks on this. So this, the Wiim Amp, the first gen, is coming in at $270. I have seen it go down to $260, but we're not far off from prices that are happening on Cyber Monday or Black Friday or during the holidays. So $270 for the Wiim Amp is really good. Again, you're getting HDMI ARC connection. You're getting one analog input and then a subwoofer output. Also has USB in, maybe USB out too. So it doesn't have everything the Ultra has, and actually I think the Ultra is kind of a better deal, but it does have a 3255 chipset amplifier inside, and if you don't need all the other connections, then $270 and just add speakers is a pretty good deal. Now these speakers I don't have anymore, but I have owned them multiple times. I will put a caveat on one of them, but one of them I can wholeheartedly recommend. Now, these are basically discontinued. I don't know, they're not gonna make them anymore. It's the previous generation. These are the Elacs debut second generation. Big departure from the first generation's rich, wonderful, yummy, full, caramelly sound. These are much more neutral. The 6.2, which is the 6-inch woofer version, I didn't think sounded very good. Could never get around their sound. Just seemed too much mid-range focus. The 5.2 though, interestingly enough, seemed way more dynamic, and I had no problem recommending those. They're a little bit, I wouldn't call them grainy on top, but the sizzle isn't there. But if you're after a neutral audiophile speaker, you can't really go wrong with the B5.2, which is coming in at $230 right now. You can also look at the 6-inch if you want to take that risk, and I've heard that they take about 100 hours of burn-in. They're coming in at $280 right now. Front ported, really cool looking, frankly. Great, solidly built speaker, but keep in mind, they didn't have the magic for me that the first gen had or that the third gen has, but they are more neutral than both of those speakers. And the 5.2 being $230 is a crazy deal. Now, since we're talking about discontinued speakers, we should probably also talk about the Klipsch RP500M. The first generation, there's a second generation going on right now. Man, they have really good ratings. 449 5-star ratings. Now, I don't know if I would necessarily agree with that, but if you're into the Klipsch sound, which is a bit of a lift, not a bit, quite a bit of a lift in the upper mid-range, very forward vocals, but also very fun. Keep in mind, if you play this speaker at 80 dB or louder for long periods of time, it will get a little bit fatiguing. Forgot I had a pair on the shelf. Here it is. Oh, this is very difficult to carry with one hand. Really well built. I like these. Cool design. Not the most inert of cabinets. So you are going to get some cabinet resonance. Ported on the back. Looks real nice. Listen, you're not buying Klipsch if you want the most neutral audiophile sound, so having a little bit of cabinet resonance isn't terrible. Listen, Klipsch speakers are very popular. People buy them all the time. They have a very unique sound. And if you're into that sound, you can pick up a pair for $279. Once again, I think the smaller bookshelf version sounds better and more dynamic than the larger bookshelf version, i.e. the RP600M, just like the Elacs debut second generation. You can also find the RP500M Mark II on sale. Well, they're not really on sale because they're refurbished for $279. And that's coming sold by the Wires Zone. No idea who they are. I have no idea what was wrong with them and what they did to refurbish them. But if you want the latest generation for exactly the same price, you can try that one out. You better listen to them really hard though, just to make sure there's nothing wrong with them. I've never heard the RP500M Mark II. I've heard the RP600M Mark II, and I felt that Klipsch kind of neutered their own sound a little bit, tried to get it to be more neutral. But even though some audiophiles don't love the Klipsch sound, I still think they should be true to who they are and lean into their sound. Lean into it. Last, but definitely not least, is the A07 Max. I would show it to you, but I gave them away to my patrons. And I kind of regret doing that because as I get more and more of these Class D amplifiers in, the A07 Max kind of proves itself over and over again as being an extreme value and sounding quite good. Anyway, it retails for $91.99. It's got a 15% off coupon, so that brings it in at $78 a piece. The cool thing about this amplifier is it runs in stereo, but you can switch it over to mono. So basically, I wouldn't call them mono blocks, I would call it kind of bridging, but you get the benefits of really good channel separation because, well, you only have one channel going into each one. And at $78, you're coming in at times two, $156.39 for a pair of them. And just like all the other amplifiers in this category, it has a 3255 chipset, but since it doesn't have an internal power supply, you can switch out the external power supply for a 48 amp, 48 volt, 5 or 10 amp power supply. What does it come with? It does say on Amazon that this is a frequently returned item. I don't know what that means. Well, I guess it means it's frequently returned. But the good news is you can get it, try it. If you don't like it, return it. All right, so it comes with a 36 volt, 6 amp power adapter, which again isn't terrible and it's gonna drive most speakers. But if you want the most juice out of this thing, then you're gonna wanna get a 48 volt, 5 amp or 10 amp power supply. But at 78 bucks, I mean, it's a crazy deal. If you like this video and you're gonna buy the Wiim Ultra, which you really should buy, then you need to check out this video on a $60 hi-fi hack that makes the Wiim Ultra sound even better. All of these will be linked in the description. All of those are affiliate links, which means if you click and you buy, I get a pittance of a commission, about 3.7%. That's right, I'm getting rich off of all these $78 amplifiers. So, don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu. Binge listen through your awesome deals on any of these products we talked about today and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.